Good morning and happy equinox of the gods. It's Happy New Year. This is the Thelemic New Year. Uh, it's Anno 121, or if you want to put it in really hardcore Thelemic terms, it is Anno capital V for 5. That's the Hierophant, and small XI for 11, or the Strength card or the Lust card in the Thoth Tarot. The capital Roman numeral is 5 times 22. So each unit is an entire series of 22 Hebrew letters, or 22 tarot trumps. So number 5 would be the Hierophant card. Okay, so that would be 110 years, and the IV would be the XI would be the 11th card, or the Lust card. So, in a sense, it's sort of setting the stage for, this year that starts at the spring equinox today is characterized by the Hierophant, okay, and Lust together. Now, of course, each tarot card has, especially the trumps, have great cosmic significance, great destiny type significance. But they're also huge concepts that can have a very positive, pleasant side, and a very unpositive, negative or uncomfortable side. So we can be optimistic and look at the cheerful end of the Hierophant and the Lust card, or the not so cheerful aspects of both of those, or a mix and match. Whatever it is, it's up to you for your own interpretation of that. But what isn't debatable is this is the astrological equinox, the spring equinox up here in the northern hemisphere, and the fall equinox to our friends in the southern hemisphere. Anyway, every 6 months in the Golden Dawn, they changed officers. And like in Freemasonry, the officers kind of are promoted up through the chairs. And in the Golden Dawn, the officer that plays the Hierophant for 1 year, or the head guy, or Osiris, is replaced by the person that plays Horus, or the Horus in the Golden Dawn. So the Horus, or Horus, is promoted and takes his seat in the east at the equinox ceremony of the Golden Dawn. And Crowley saw a parallel to this, to what was happening cosmically in, I guess, with the gods themselves in the events right here on Earth, the equinox of the gods. Here's what Crowley says in Crowley and Rose, because she contributed to these comments in the diary. It says on March 20th, it says revealed, and then in parentheses it says, we cannot make out if this revelation comes from W, that's Rose, or the result of the ritual, but almost certainly the former, or Rose, as it precedes the great success entry. that the equinox of the gods is come, Horus taking the throne of the East, and all rituals, etc., being abrogated. To explain this, okay, in the Equinox of the Gods book, they actually append the equinox ceremony of the Golden Dawn to in a sense, instruct us or educate us in the process. Continued, March 20th, great success in midnight invocation. Now, he's tried it, a couple times in the days previous to this, like at noon yesterday, and it didn't work out so well. Okay. The other diary says 10 p.m., quote, midnight is perhaps a loose phrase or perhaps marks the climax of the ritual. But then it goes on to say, I am to formulate a new link of an order with the solar force. In parentheses here in his comments, which may have been written years later, it is not clear what happened in this invocation, but it is evident from another note of certainly later date that, quote, great success does not mean samadhi. For P, that's Crowley, writes, I make it an absolute condition that I should attain samadhi in the God's own interest. His memory concurs in this. It was the samadhi that was attained in October 1906, that's 2 years later, that set him again in the path of obedience to this revelation. By that, quote, great success means something very important is clear. And the sneering skeptic of what we read on the 17th of March must have had a shock before he wrote these words. Okay. So here's the ritual. Invocation of Horus according to the divine vision of W, or that's Urada, or Rose, the Scarlet Woman. He's called Vision of W, the Seer. To be performed before a window open to the east or north without incense. The room to be filled with jewels, but only diamonds to be worn. A sword, unconsecrated. 44 pearl beads to be told. Stand. Bright daylight at 12:30 noon. That was the first one that didn't go so well. Locked doors, white robes, bare feet, be very loud. Saturday. Use the sign of Apophis and Typhon. Now, the above is W's answer to various questions posed by Crowley, preliminary. Now, banish, lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram. Flaming sword, abrahadabra, invoke as before. Now, those were Crowley's idea for the ritual, but she replied, omit. The manuscript of this ritual bears many internal marks of having been written in the white heat and left unrevised, save perhaps for one glance. These are mistakes in grammar and spelling unique in all manuscripts of Frater P. The use of capitals is irregular and punctuation almost wanting. He starts with a confession, and she told him, don't bathe, don't wash, don't invoke, don't prepare like in the Golden Dawn. Just do it. So here's Crowley's confession. Unprepared and uninvoking thee, I, O.M., Frater R.R.A.C., am here in thy presence, for thou art everywhere. O Lord Horus, to confess humbly before thee my neglect and scorn of thee. How shall I humble myself enough before thee? Thou art the mighty and unconquered Lord of the universe. I am a spark of thy divine, of thine unutterable radiance. How should I approach thee, but thou art everywhere? But thou hast graciously deigned to call me unto thee, to this exorcism of art, that I may be thy servant, thine adept, O bright one, O Son of glory. Thou hast called me. Should I not then hasten to thy presence? With unwashen hands, therefore, I come unto thee, and I lament my wandering from thee. But thou knowest. Yea, I have done evil. Now this is because he snubbed Horus, because he didn't like MacGregor Mathers. If one, and he's referring to Mathers here, if one who was much obsessed by Mars, P saw Horus at first as Geburah, later as an aspect of Tifereth, including Hesed and Geburah, the red triangle inverted in an aspect opposite to Osiris. Okay, if one blaspheme thee, why should I therefore forsake thee? But thou art the avenger, all is with thee. I bow my neck before thee, as once thy sword was upon it. That's a Golden Dawn ritual. Strike if thou wilt, spare if thou wilt, but accept me as I am. My trust is in thee. Shall I be confounded? This ritual of art, this 40 and fourfold invocation, this sacrifice of blood, these I do not comprehend. It is enough if I obey thy decree. Did thy fiat go forth for my eternal misery? Were it not my joy to execute thy sentence upon myself? For why? For that all is in thee and of thee. It is enough if I burn up in the intolerable glory of thy presence. Enough. I turn toward the promise. Doubtful are the words, dark are the ways. But in thy words and ways is light. Thus then, now as ever, I enter the path of darkness, if haply so I may attain the light. Hail. Now what follows is an ingenious series of verses that intertwine the concept of 5 and 6 and join them together in the same way that the magical word, and at first it's the word of the aeon here, abrahadabra, is the union of 5 A's and 6 other letters. It's like a magic word like Kazam or Shazam or something that just in the pronunciation of abrahadabra, you're executing the union of 5 and 6, the client with the holy guardian angel, the macrocosm with the microcosm. Just in the word abrahadabra, the union of 5 and 6. Now listen how he does that. 1 Aleph. Strike, strike the master chord, draw, draw the flaming sword, crown, child, and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. O thou with the head of the hawk, thee, thee I invoke. And at every thee, thee I invoke, he gives the sign of Apophis. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something because it'll help you understand so I won't have to interrupt. Here's how these verses are arranged. There's alphabetically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alphabetically, and then numerically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they go together. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 are the voices abrahadabra. So I won't have to interrupt from here. The invocation. O thou of the head of the hawk, thee I invoke. O thou only begotten child of Osiris, thy father, and Isis thy mother, he that was slain, she that bore thee in thy womb, flying from the terror of the water, thee I invoke. O thou whose apron is a flashing fire whiter than the forehead of the morning, thee I invoke. O thou who hast formulated thy father and made fertile thy mother, thee I invoke. Thou whose garment is of golden glory with the azure bars of light, thee I invoke. Thou who didst avenge the horror of death, thou the slayer of Typhon, thou who didst lift thine arms, and the dragons of death were as dust. O thou didst raise thy head, and the crocodile of Nile was abased before thee, thee I invoke. O thou whose nemesis hideth the universe with night, the impermeable blue, thee I invoke. Thou who travellest in the boat of Ra, abiding at the helm of the Aftet boat and of the Sektet boat, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou about whose presence is shed the darkness of blue light, the unfathomable glory of the outmost ether, the untraveled and unthinkably immensity of space, who conquerest all the 30 aethers in one darkling sphere of fire. Thee I invoke. Thou who bearest the rose and the cross of life and light, thee I invoke. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 are the voices, abrahadabra. Number 2, bet. Strike the master chord. Draw the flaming sword, crown child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. By thy name of Ra I invoke thee, hawk of the sun. By thy name Ramachus, youth of the brilliant morning, I invoke thee. By thy name Mao, I invoke thee, lion of the midday sun. By thy name Tum, hawk of the even, crimson splendor of the sunset, thee I invoke. By thy name Kephra, I invoke thee, O beetle of the hidden mastery of midnight. By thy name Heru Parkrat, lord of silence, beautiful child that standeth on the dragons of the deep, I invoke thee. By thy name Apollo, I invoke thee, O man of strength and splendor, O poet, O father. By thy name Phoebus, that drivest thy chariot through the heavens of Zeus, thee I invoke. By thy name Odin, I invoke thee, O warrior of the north, renown of the sagas. By thy name Yeshua, O child of the flaming star, I invoke thee. By thy own name, thy secret name, Huri, thee I invoke. The names of the 5, the names of the 6, 11 are the names, abrahadabra. Behold, I stand in the midst. Mine is the symbol of Osiris. To thee are mine eyes ever turned. Unto the splendor of Geburah, the magnificence of Hesed, the mystery of Da'ath. Thither I lift up mine eyes. This I have sought, and I have sought the unity. Hear thou me. Now he changes from thou to me, as if the invocation has indwelled him, as if the God, the invoked God, is within him, and he starts to speak in the first person. 3 Gimel. And again we go 1A, 2B, 3, etc. Mine is the head of the mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I invoke. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reversed, sign of none save it be of thee, O Lord. By the lamen I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing abai that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of Apophis and Typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intimate air. By my crown I invoke thee. By my fingers I travel upon the beads of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the Master Abrahadabra. By the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Strike, strike the master chord, draw, draw the flaming sword, crown child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. By the song I invoke thee. In my hand is the sword of revenge, let it strike at thy bidding. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 are the voices, Abrahadabra. And the next section goes completely into the first person, as if the God itself is talking through Crowley. I am he with the head of the hawk. Okay, thou art the only begotten son of Osiris, my father, and Isis, my mother, etc. Okay, mine is the apron. I have formulated my father. I whose garment is of golden gold, etc., etc., etc. And it finally ends, therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that my spirit, whether of the firmament or of the Father, I'll repeat it again. Therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that my spirit, whether of the firmament or of the ether, or of the earth or under the earth, on dry land or in the water, or whirling air, or of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast one, may be thou. Abrahadabra. He ends by saying, the adoration, impromptu. And it was Crowley's intent to banish after that. He says, close by banishing. And in parentheses, he said, I think this was omitted at W's order. Whatever it was, after this time, the reaction to that invocation was unambiguous enough for them to enthusiastically say, with success. Well, the holy days end April 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's a lot of stuff that they did in between that. And we'll try to talk a little bit more about that in the days to come. One little bit of news for our friends in Italy, or who speak Italian, that The Magic of Aleister Crowley is now in a beautiful new edition, translated into Italian, and it's just a beautiful copy. So let's see, I just saw it's even got one of those kind of covers. I think more English books in English should do that. It's so pretty. And the publisher is Fanny's, I think. I believe so. Let's see. There we go. Yes. PHANES, Publishing Society, Incorporated. Anyway, even if you don't speak Italian, get it. It just looks like you're continental. That's it for today. Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. We'll see you tomorrow for Friday. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under well.